We had to go a little bit into the month to make sure that everything did calculate, and it did. So it is official. It was a BMIB last month. What? Possibly get another one this month. I would love to see in August. We had just had back-to-back BMIBs. I think we're capable of it. I think we are probably going to do it, and I have faith in you guys. You guys are on tear right now. You're doing really great, and can't thank you enough. So, star of the hour, Mr. Xavier, who obviously won a Rolex. Let's give it up for Xavier. What? I mean, honestly, Xavier's been basically he works a ton. He never complains. Every time you need him to pick something up extra, he's there. He will do it. He'll go to Toledo.
He lives in Toledo.
Almost. But I mean, what's really impressive, and I know I don't want to get too much into areas, but I know a lot of people have talked a certain way about downriver. But he's doing this basically all downriver. I mean, it's amazing. It doesn't matter where we send you, what we send you to, he's closing it. I mean, the guy is doing phenomenal, and I can't give you enough praise. You're doing fantastic.
Woo! That's a stand-up ovation.
Yeah. All right, with this, I'm gonna let you get going.
Sure. Yeah, real quick. First off, you come up here, please, Xavier, for a second. How did you come about being in the Carpet Guys?
Met you guys last year at Kalahari. Brendan came up to the bar and just got the BSing with them. And he said, what if I get you in here and give you an opportunity? And I told him I would love to try to take a chance, and luckily got in.
Now, you guys didn't meet on a water slide. You guys
No,
met.
I was bartending in the swim-up bar, and him and his wife and friends and everything like that came up and talking.
What impressed you about our company?
That it's family owned. That's a big thing to me. Kalahari is family owned too, so it's kind of like they come all the time and talk to the employees, and that's something that was a big factor for me. Obviously, the money's better, and then just
Bartenders make good money.
Yeah, there we did. Kalahari was nice, and obviously I didn't work as much as I did here, but making more money now, so happy about that.
Very, very good. What impressed you about Xavier?
Just his service. You always say, like, to be honest, I feel like the people that you've hired, I feel like some of the best ones tend to be like organically, like Nino, me since I was 16, so I feel like it was just organic. He took good care of me as a bartender, and
But you're not going to recruit every bartender or every server at Applebee's. What did he do that made you think, man, this guy would be a good fit, man, he could probably sell?
Good at making a friend.
I thought you were going to say good at making a drink.
But
we used to have some killer New Year's parties. We don't do those anymore.
But I don't know. This kind of hit it off, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, that was one of the things he said. Everybody that was coming up to the bar, I was just making a friend with, and that night he was just saying a bunch about that. And that he thinks I would be
He
good.
actually threw an ice ball, and I caught it in my mouth.
No.
He threw it, meaning to hit me, and I went to go catch it in my mouth, and it fucking.
Why? I did a dumb thing. I used to do something where
So you're getting fired anyways.
I used to do a thing where I put whipped cream on a towel. I used to do this to most of the ladies, but Brian was like, I want to try it. So I put whipped cream on a towel and then launch it out into the water and then catch it in their mouth. So I did it to him, and then him and his wife were coming back, and I used to throw snowballs at people too. And so I threw it at him, and he thought it was whipped cream, and he went, oh. I was like, no, it just smoked him in the face.
But your job is to make a drink.
Yeah.
Your job, doesn't require you to make a friend, right?
No.
But you probably did probably did better than most other bartenders because you made a friend. How did you make a friend as a bartender?
Just let the people talk about themselves. You just ask questions. Everybody likes to talk about themselves. So, and also I like to hear people's stories and their outcome of life. And that's something I enjoy about this too. I'm going to crappy houses to super nice houses and hearing every different kind of aspect of life. So that's something I enjoy to do. Hear everybody's stories.
And when you listen, you genuinely listen?
Oh yeah. Some people obviously you don't really do it. You just let them go and you just say yes and no. But most of the time I would genuinely listen. Yeah.
You genuinely listen to this guy? Obviously you're here.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Now, you don't come from a sales background.
No, not at all.
Your selling background was selling yourself on the idea of,
Making a drink, but that I don't really consider sales, cause if you came to the bar and wanted it extra, I would try to charge you on a shot or something like that, but it's not really, you're coming to the bar saying this is what I want.
do you mind me asking what, like, your best year of income was prior to being here as far as being a bartender? You were in construction also, right?
Kalahari I made, like 90,000.
Wow.
Yeah, but that was only 20-30 hours a week, so
So it's
it was
easy,
really
man.
good,
It's
yeah.
solid. You did really well.
Kalahari's a little, that was the only bartending job I've ever had too. I would never bartend anywhere else just because, obviously the environment there is completely different than like your hole in the wall bar and everything like that.
How many bartenders work at Kalahari?
There's about 25.
Out of the 25, would you say you're in the bottom, in the middle, three-quarters up, like or an A plus?
I was the top sales guy for them as well, but that's also because I was pretty fast. I was pretty quick with everything and
Spend the drinks.
yeah, exactly. I would do some stupid tricks and stuff like that. It's
I've
something where I
tried,
like to
right?
do it. Just I like to try to get better at whatever I'm doing. Just, if I enjoy it though, if I don't enjoy it, I don't care about it.
You enjoy doing this?
Yeah, I do enjoy it.
Not just the money?
No, definitely not just the money. Like I said, I like to go into people's houses and hear the way of life and what they've been through and their experience and stuff like that.
And it's not just the money,
No.
because, I mean, if you left a $90,000 a year job, which is more than, I don't know, 90,000 a year puts you in the top 6% of American wage earners or earners altogether. You know, I mean, to leave that type of security
Yeah.
right down the street from where you lived, to jump into something completely unknown, that's a big risk.
It is definitely a big risk. Luckily I had good relationships with the people there, so I actually did it for like 2 weeks and like a week and a half ago there. But if I ever needed it, I can always go back.
Sure. Well, you're great at what you do. Well, you're great here too, and I wanna thank you for taking that leap of faith, and Brendan for bringing on such an amazing person, because you're getting overrides on sales too, because that was part of your,
Tell me it
part
was
of
me a
the,
lot.
what's that?
I told me it was me a lot.
Well, you recruited somebody good. I mean, what's nice about that is we set up a program for people that, you know, if you know other bartenders, other people that would be good with people, and genuinely be good, that work hard, try hard, practice at the things they enjoy. If you think they would actually enjoy it, this might be a good path for them. Because how does that work, Rick? It's if they're both active and ongoing and they're both over 50%, they get a 1% override, or is it 0.5%? I don't remember.
They have to be over 3% commission. He has to sell that over 3%, because Brendan would get 1%.
Okay,
And we gotta get bonuses too, right? Or the monthly bonuses or whatever.
Yes.
okay. So that's nice for Brendan too, good job. So it's always nice to have extra money, and it's a really, really good program. And I know there's a few other people that take advantage of that program, and we have something like that for our installers as well, so it's been a really good thing. And if there's anything we could be doing better for you, you know, let us know, because we wanna make this great for everybody as best as we can. You know, I'm not involved as much as I once was, but when somebody has numbers like you did, it really kind of demands. Yeah. I mean, it's not every day that we give away a Rolex watch, but I'm gonna say that very, very well deserved. And what's great is, you know, Xavier doesn't come from a background of sales. He had construction in his history and bartending in his history. You know, what's he have that a lot of salespeople don't have? Is he has the patience, the desire, the willingness to listen to his customers and really and be coachable. Because you had to be coachable to go from 0 to where you're at right now.
Yeah.
And you're brand new, and there's some people that have been here that have hit your numbers, that have been here for several years, and some people, you know, do it, you know, right off the rip. But just to go over some of these numbers real quick, for the last month, between what he did in Toledo and what he did here in Detroit, just under $360,000 in 1 month of sales. $360,000 during one of the slowest months of the year. One guy, 1 month. And this was his 5th month, actually 4th month in the field when he accomplished that. How'd you do that? Well, your schedule's open. You have wide open schedule. You don't limit it for you know, the 20-mile radius. You're willing to work from Toledo to Algonac. I mean, he has his schedule wide open 7 days a week, with the exception of the last couple weeks, I believe. And so he makes himself completely available. Now, I'm not saying this is for everybody. Some people have kids, some people are single parents, some people have other obstacles and challenges, and some people are perfectly fine making whatever money they make. So let me tell you right now, if you don't mind me sharing, is it okay if I share what He's already at over he's over $50,000 for the year during the slowest, worst quarter of the entire year. He's on pace to make over $200,000 this year after just the first 3 months, the slowest 3 months of the entire 12-month calendar. The worst 3 months, he's already earned over $50,000 for the year. That's solid, man. That's solid, man. Way to go. Last month he was the top in sales volume, and the second place person was underneath him by over $100,000. Wasn't even close. A lot of people did really great numbers last month, but you just blew them away. And it took some absolute persistence, tenacity. You know, go get them. I mean, that's amazing. And you're already like in the top 3 or 4 this month. You're closing at 67% this month, if I'm not mistaken. You're just under $100,000 in sales, so you're already on pace for $250,000 a month. So way to go, man. Congratulations. And anytime somebody earns, the first time somebody hits over $300,000 a month, they get a Rolex. Some subsequent wins get a $5,000 bonus check. But since this is your first time hitting it, the Rolex costs a lot more than the $5,000. So you get to pick. There's 3 watches here. They're all beautiful, date just with the large face. The Wimbledon's the one that I have. That's a rare one. The one with the white face, that's also a really rare one. They're all really nice watches, man. One of the nicest timepieces out there. So you get to pick whichever one you like. There it is. Take it. It's yours. That's that. And it's Lucido's Fine Jewelers. Go to the one in Sterling Heights, and they get your warranty registered under your name. And if you need any adjustments, they'll take care of it. And you're good to go, man. Congratulations. Way to go. Everyone get a stand. Don't be a hater. Stand up. Come on. Way to go. Good job. And I mean, what it takes to win. Look at the Tigers, man. The Tigers are doing great this year already. And the Pistons, I mean, they don't have the most talented team, the Pistons. I mean, look at the first half of the year. Look what they're doing right now. It's just raw enthusiasm. And, it's easy to get stuck in our mind. When we're on a roll, I've watched Blake go, and I've watched almost everybody here, especially the people that I've known for a long time, have streaks where they are completely unstoppable. Sorry about that, Drew. Kind of hijacked your arm for a minute. I've seen people go on streaks where they're completely unstoppable. Someone's got bad credit, you can't get them financed, you still walk out of there with a sale. When you're on a roll and you don't want anybody to beat you, and you don't want anybody to ever put a roadblock or a pothole in your road, I've seen anybody in here, several people, accomplish some of the impossible things. But it's all up here. If you believe and succeed, you can accomplish just about anything. But when we were talking about just before the meeting, anytime we have any type of self-doubt, or anytime we kind of get into that negative Nancy kind of mood, it's really, really easy for that cancer in our brain to spread and just not be able to, and really get ourselves in a slump. Golf was an interesting game. I've never got good at it. I played until I was about 14, and once I started sucking, I just quit. My dad was really good at it, but somebody said they named it golf because the F word was already used in the dictionary, because a lot of people get to this, they can have 16 amazing holes and get to the 17th hole, and all of a sudden just blow their entire game. It's easy to get stuck in our mind in just about anything we do. And it's really, really great to see people succeed. And if you can I borrow you 1 more minute? If you wouldn't mind just sharing, what do you do in your demos? What are the habits that you have? Not saying that other people don't have the same habits, but what's your morning look like? What does your day look like when you get into a customer's house? Prior to getting to the house, what's on your mind? What are you thinking? What are you doing? What are some of the habits that you have that you think lead to you being able to succeed?
Honestly, everyone's a little bit different. A lot of them I just go in and let them, like I said, to ask a lot of questions about them, because everybody likes to talk about themselves. Let them open up and feel hopefully comfortable. There are obviously a couple of exceptions, but and then when you get to the numbers and everything, I try to make like a joke out of it. Sometimes I say a really high number and I'm just not so, and go down to something lower, or just play everyone a little bit differently. Nothing really too crazy. I honestly not too sure. Just go in and make a friend.
What if somebody says I got to think about it?
I ask them, what is there to think about? Is it me? Is it the company? Is it the price? Most of the time it's the price. This is something I talk to Brendan a lot. He luckily helped me out with it too. So 9 times out of 10 it always comes with a price. If we could do it for $1,000, would you do it? And they say, yeah, I wasn't okay, so you don't need to think about it, it's just the price, you know, where do you wanna be around to be comfortable, you know, be reasonable, but. And hopefully, you know, at that time, I'm a little bit higher up on the scale, so they know, so they say a number that's still gonna be making decent money on it. So.
Very good. So you isolate the objection, you price condition them earlier by just dropping a high number, even just so you're just joking around, just to get them, just dropping the seed.
Yeah.
And then you price condition them, and then, perfect, it's very, very good. Where'd you learn all that stuff?
Honestly, talking to like Brandon Clark, guys in the office, they helped out a lot. They are definitely been coaching me a little bit and helping out, and we just go back and forth and help each other out.
Very good. Excellent job.
Appreciate it.
Way to go, man. I won't hijack the meeting, because I'm not even supposed to be here usually. But I will say that one of the things that's helped benefit me in my life, probably more than just about anything, is becoming coachable. It's really easy when we're good at something, especially people that are just talented at certain things. Like I was a talented baseball player when I was young. And, you know, I thought I knew everything. I was the best player on the team. And my coach, like, he pushed me the hardest. And I was like, why don't you pick on those guys? You know? And, but he taught me that one of the most important things, in fact, my old boss used to say, there's nothing special about, Tiffany's dad said, there's nothing special about John Parker. I was just dumb enough to listen and smart enough to follow through. And I remember him saying that over and over again throughout different sales meetings. I was dumb enough to listen and smart enough to follow through. A lot of us are too smart to listen. A lot of us know it all. In AA, you know, I had 4.5 years of sobriety. I figured I had this thing fixed, and I went back out and I drank again. You know, there's been times that I thought that I was, you know, I got this. And I stopped being coachable. I started using this and this in the opposite proportion. But we have 2 ears and one mouth, and we should probably try to use those in that proportion. Sometimes we can have a great month, sometimes we can have a great year. And I've seen this so many times where I've seen people put out numbers that were just unbeatable numbers. I've seen, you know, almost everyone at this table has broken a record. You know, half the room has broken a record at one point that nobody would ever touch. And what happens a lot of times, once we get to this level of greatness and we've surpassed everyone else in our peer group, once we're the biggest, you know, the biggest fish in the tank, somehow, some way, a lot of us just become complacent in some way. Not necessarily in a bad thing, it's just human nature. You know, when we make enough money, we got enough of it, then we don't want to work as hard. When we become the best at something, we look around, hey, everyone else is 5 miles behind us. You know, that slow and steady that kept them going, you know, it kind of goes out of their mind, and we become complacent. And it's important, I think, that we can all learn from people, whether they're new or whether they've been around for many, many years. But if we can stay coachable and not be too into ourselves where we're too good to listen to an old audiobook. Like we might have listened to the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People a dozen times, or the you know, there's so many different audiobooks that are out there. I mean, I still listen to The Secret from time to time, even though I could probably memorize that stupid thing. Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. I mean, some of the things he was talking about were key things that most of us listen to in that audiobook. I mean, people love talking about themselves. And he understands that concept, and he runs with it. And as a result, he's getting some, you know, phenomenal numbers. But if once the minute we think that we're ripe, what's the next thing that happens?
Right.
Yeah. If we stay green, what do? Right. So always stay green. If we could stay green and continue to grow, continually try to get better and better and better, continually practice. You know, a lot of players make it to the NFL or the Major League Baseball, and once they get there, they think they've arrived. And the people that get those great big contracts, you ever watch like some Tiger player, any baseball player, I mean, they get these massive contracts, and then the next year they suck. For the next 3 years, they stop trying because they're complacent. They're the best. The true greats continually practice. They always, always, always. You know, they could be the best free throw shooter in the league. And, you know, at halftime or something, they're just going here. They're laser focused. They're just doing it over and 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 over. There's he coming to America. Oh, oh, oh. They're doing it over and over and over again. They're just practicing. They're laser focused. And they're coachable. So if there's anything that I can, you know, anything that I can share in this meeting, always be coachable, always stay green, always be hungry, never get ripe, and only get ripe and dying. job. And great job, team. I mean, having a BMIB, it's very hard for me. I'm a control freak. So it's very hard for me to let go and completely let go. And allow Dave and Michael and Brian and everyone else to run my baby, my company. You know, this has been very, very hard for me. Some decisions they've made, I was like, no! Well, you want to come back and be CEO? I'll retire. I'm 72. I'm ready to go. You know, 73. So he's been telling me this for a year. You know, and to be honest, I mean, it's probably the best thing. I think the company's in much better shape today than we ever have been. Despite a lot of challenges that are outside this room that's going on in our economy and our, you know, everything that's going on, we're doing fantastic. And I have to be coachable. And, you know, by you guys allowing yourselves to be coachable and accept some new changes, I think it's better for everybody. And if he can make $50,000 during the first quarter, make over $200,000 in a year, there's not a person here that can't do it. Not a single person. It's just, are we willing to do the things that he did? Are we willing to do what he takes? You know, a lot of times people say, oh yeah, he's like, you know, he's the cousin of the owner, or he's whatever it might be. He and I we met once, Kalahari, when Brendan introduced me. You know, and when he said it, I'm like, yeah, okay, you know, like, nice to meet you. You know, I didn't think anything was ever gonna come of it. You know, little did I know. You know, but you're willing to do what it takes. And if we're willing to do what it takes and do what the winners do, we get the results the winners get. So if he can do it, anybody can do it. Are you willing to go on the ride-alongs? Are you willing to take advice? Are you willing to be coachable? Are you willing to open up your schedule and do whatever it takes? You know, in the middle of rush hour, are you willing to go from Algonac to Ann Arbor? You know, are you willing to do that and still keep a good attitude? You know, are you willing to listen to audiobooks in your car on your way to your next appointment instead of listening to the news? It's just going to make you negative. Are you willing to change your sleeping habits? Are you willing to change your drinking habits? Are you willing to change your, you know, are you willing to do whatever it takes? And if you're not, it's okay. You know, it's fine. You know, there's you know, making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year is fine. Making $100,000, you know, is fine. It's great. You know, if you're making 120 or 140, it's great. We haven't had a salesperson make over 200 yet. We had someone last year very, very close. But this year I'd like to have a couple people over a couple 100,000. And I'd like to see almost everybody here over 100. So, unless you're part-time. If you're part-time, and you know, then it is what it is, you know, but good job, man. Very, very good job. All right, I'll shut up.
Fantastic. You know, I think the takeaway from this, Joe's even said it in the past.